we are doing breakfast. I make a killer sweet potato hash. I'm going to show you how to do it, and let's get started. First thing we do, we have a sheet pan. It's going to go in the oven at 450 degrees. I'm going to peel and dice the sweet potatoes. So these are pretty big. Half of one of these is probably a serving, so this is 4 adult servings. First, we will just kind of snap these ends off. We're just going to peel these all the way. Okay, with those peeled, we're going to dice them, and we're going to dice them pretty small. So we want to first cut them into quarters. I'm going to go in about, like a quarter to a half of an inch. And I'm going to cut through it again. And then one more time. And then I flip the whole thing over sideways, and I'm just going to go right through that once. And then we can just cut it again, quarter of an inch, half inch. Now that is all diced up, let's add some olive oil, probably 2.5 tablespoons. Give it a good toss. Probably 1 tablespoon of salt. Tossing in. Now we will add 2 teaspoons of allspice, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, ground cinnamon, actually probably half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and then 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika. Then we have just a little bit of red pepper flakes. You can skip that if you don't want it spicy, or you can just add a little bit of black pepper if you want. That'll just sit off to the side for a minute while this preheats. We want the pan to preheat in the oven after it comes to temperature for an additional 10 minutes. So we've got about 6 more minutes left. So set that aside. Prepare some of the other stuff that we'll be cooking separately. So we're going to dice up half of a sweet onion and then also dice up 1 red bell pepper. We want to keep as much heat in the oven as we can, and that to roast. And so we want to move really quick. And so we just open up fast, close it, take the sweet potatoes, right in the oven very quickly, maintain as much heat as we can. That's going to be in there for 20 minutes. Get started on this. We've got a pan here. We will turn to medium-high heat. I've got a few herbs here that I'm going to use, and we're using them at different points. So sage, thyme, and oregano, 1 big sprig of each, and then we have some chopped fresh parsley that we will add right at the end. So first, we'll add some olive oil, probably 1.5 tablespoons. And the sage, I think I'll only use 1 of these. Let's count the leaves. 8 to 10 leaves of sage. For the thyme, let's just pull the leaves right off. We want probably 2 teaspoons of fresh thyme. And then oregano, we want probably the same amount, 2 teaspoons to like a tablespoon of fresh oregano. Check our oil, it's heated up. So the sage right in. Just let that fry. Oh, it smells so good already. Drop our temperature down to medium. You want to fry it until it starts looking brown kind of on the edges and is nice and kind of loses the bright green color and gets a little bit more deep. Take that out, set it up here. Next I have half a pound of ground turkey sausage. Just break off pieces and drop them in the pan. After that's gone a minute, you stir it up. break up some of the larger pieces. We will go in with the onions, the peppers, the thyme and oregano. And then we're going to season it with the same seasonings. This time we'll do 1 teaspoon each of allspice and smoked paprika, and then like a 1/4 teaspoon of the cinnamon. A couple pinches of salt. There's salt in the sausage, so you don't need too much. And we're just going to keep cooking that until the sweet potatoes are done. Speaking of which, every once in a while, just shake the pan to kind of keep the sweet potatoes from sticking too much. And then we have another pan, non-stick. We're going to put that on, and we're just going to put it onto low right now. That we're going to use when we cook the eggs. I've got 8 eggs here. We are just going to crack them all into this bowl. Try not to break the yolks if you can, but if you do, whatever. If the vegetables here start to brown or stick a little bit much, then you can turn the heat down just a little bit. You don't want to get them too far ahead, but you do want some caramelization on the onions and the peppers. When we've got about 5 minutes left on the sweet potatoes, we're going to turn the oven to broil and get going on our eggs. Olive oil in the pan. Probably 1.5 tablespoons. Move the heat up to just below medium. I can tell now that my vegetables, if they keep cooking, they're going to burn. So I turn the heat off, slide it over. When you can see that the oil is starting to ripple a little bit, that means it's ready. All of these eggs we'll just put right into this pan. On those eggs, we'll add some salt and pepper. You can use black pepper for sure. I actually prefer red pepper berries, which is not really like peppercorns. They have a flavor like pepper, but they're not spicy like pepper is. They're a little bit sweet, and they go really well with the eggs here. So I'm just going to grind some of those up and add that right over top of the eggs. Now we're just going to cover those eggs, drop our temperature to low. Got our bowl washed out from when we seasoned the sweet potatoes. All of that goes right in there. And because we preheated the pan and tossed the potatoes in oil, nothing sticks. The sausage also goes in. Let's peek on the eggs. Fried sage, let's just give that a little chop. Add that in. A little bit of the parsley, and then toss. To plate, we've got our bowl here. Take that hash just right down in there. Just use our spatula, and we're going to kind of cut around 2 of the eggs, and those will go right on top. Just a little pinch of the chopped parsley. All right, there it is. Breakfast of Champions. It's a favorite around here. We have it weekly at least. Give it a try. Let us know how you like it. A link to the full recipe is in the captions, along with some of the equipment that I've used. Let us know how you like it when you try it, and be sure to tag us.